Dude, I'm so amped up. Holy cow.
I know. When we went down by 9, I was like, "This doing this tomorrow sounds good."
Well, but you know what the crazy part is? We got those 2 points back because they got rid of a goaltend or they waved off a
Yeah,
basket they had earlier, and suddenly we were down seven, and somehow that made all the difference.
yeah. I still don't understand how that wasn't a goaltend, but I don't know. I
I
know
think it.
Dylan.
I think if 50% of the ball goes below the basket. All right, we're live on YouTube now. So you ready to start the record here?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
All right.
I'm like 5. I'm like 3 minutes from home.
I can give you I can give
Better
you a few
light.
minutes if you want, just so you don't have to drive
Okay.
and talk at the same time.
We Yeah, I'm hauling tail. We can get the YouTube chat going. Anybody in the chat yet?
Let me check.
I'd
Hold
be
on.
shocked if there is.
There's one person in there right now, and I think it's me. Oh no, we got four. We got four in the chat.
Man, dude, we needed this so bad.
Oh man,
What
what a freaking game!
I mean, just the composure, the just and guys not having their best nights, but contributing in other ways too. Just
And dude, talk about
unbelievable.
overcoming the freaking adversity of what happened on that plane. I
Yeah,
mean,
someone
my
said, "What?
gosh.
That's going to be a fun plane ride home." LOL. Yeah, and but what's interesting is that if we would have lost this game, that shadow would have been cast so wide, and now that's I wouldn't say a non-story, but the maybe the pressure is off a little bit. I don't know.
I mean, I think no matter what way you slice it, we prove that we can win without those guys. And man, the fact that we nearly
Yeah,
lost CBM so early.
yeah. Miles Kelly having 4-2. All right, I'm pulling in the
All right,
driveway in a
sweet.
second. Yeah, I'm good to keep this thing
No,
half.
we'll keep this tight. We'll be out of here by 1 a.m. my time.
Yeah, I think
All
you
right,
and
hang on.
I have the same mindset here.
Let me just check. Do we have anything in the chat here? We got Chris Thomas saying War Eagle from the Toyota Center. Oh,
Oh,
Chris, you
let's
were there.
go. Let's
All right,
go.
we got Chris. We got to hear from you as the show goes on, my man.
Yeah.
All right,
The
Ryan,
AUs in the crowd were loud. All right, I'm pulling in, open the
especially by
garage.
the end. All right, I'm going to go ahead and start. I'll introduce us and get it started here, okay? All right, everybody. We are coming off one of the biggest wins in program history, a 5-point win over the Houston Cougars, number 4 in the AP poll, number 2 in Ken Palm, in the Toyota Center, in their backyard, 74-69. I am your favorite substitution host, Ben here. I got Ryan, who just pulled in to his garage after watching this game live. Ryan, instant reactions. What do you got for me?
Man, I'm just so proud of this team. I mean, the fight and the battle. This is a legit Houston team. I think people don't maybe quite understand just how good defensively they are, and it showed in the first half, just with how tenacious they were at the half court. But what an absolute win for this program! What an absolute win for this team and the schedule we have coming up, and to get one of these under our belt early on just sets the tone moving forward. I mean, just absolutely sets the tone, and that's what's so exciting about this.
I mean, Ryan, at one point we were down by 9 points. We'd missed two dunks that were wide open. We had a Cheney dunk that went flying off the basket. We had another one, just wide open looks that we missed. We were doing terrible in the turnover game, but somehow this team stuck it together. When it mattered most, we started feeding our All American big number 4. And I guess that's really where we got to start off tonight. Ryan, who are you thinking for MVP?
And it's a tough MVP because it was trending the first half to Cheney. I mean, Cheney came out and played so well to start the game and really helped carry us with 9 points. Yeah, at some point in that first half. But Todd Pettiford kept us in that game at certain points with some threes in the first half. I think he went 2 for 3 from three in the first half. And just the way that he was getting up the court the way he was running the offense in the second half, the way that he was finishing at the rim. Um, I think there's an argument to be made about Janai Broom with the MVP, but Tahad, man, when we needed baskets and we needed to shrink their lead, he was our guy. And that three at the top of the key just absolutely was beautiful. I've got to give it to Tahad tonight. I mean, he's different. I think he's um, a different freshman than maybe we're used to seeing in the past at guard. I'm not going to make comparisons, but you can see he's got just a different tenacity that we need, and it's going to be a different conversation later on in the next few episodes about starting. Right? I mean, he played the whole last 12 minutes of the game.
Yeah.
But I gotta give it to
and
Todd.
that's going to be Matt's number one thing. If Matt were here, he would want to talk about it's not about who starts the game, it's about who finishes the game. Tahad Pettiford finished with 21 points tonight. He was 7 of 12 from the floor, 5 of 8 from the 3-point line, and of course, you know my favorite stat. He was 2 of 2 from the free throw line. But Ryan, you talked about his composure. You talked about his aggressiveness, his tenacity. Todd Pettiford's only 6 feet tall. He finished with 3 rebounds, 3 assists, and against one of the best defenses in America. 0 turnovers, my friend. But we want to talk about a few more players before we hand over that crowd. Janai Broom, 20 points tonight, 9 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, 5 blocks. 5 blocks for the block party. Shout out Jackson. If you were here, we know you'd love it. We actually lost the block party to Houston the last time we played them in the NCAA tournament. Tonight, we finished with 7 as a team. They only finished with 3. Janai Broom, you can't say enough about the guy as a player. I mean, the announcers were talking about it all game. When he got to that right shoulder and was able to turn and go inside with that left hand, forget about it, man. He was unstoppable. The one place where Janai really hurt us tonight was the same place he hurt us the last time against Houston, making free throws, man. He was 0-4 from the charity stripe. He was also 0-4 from 3. Ryan, any concerns with Janai going forward?
It's hard to say that right now. I mean, just my only concern is, and I think I said this on the last time we talked in, I guess, Vermont, is I don't really love him at the 4, and that's my probably biggest concern or complaint right now. I don't know if that's going to change anytime soon, because Chaney coming off the bench is such a weapon right now, that I don't even think we've ever really had before. Maybe besides Jalen and Jabari back in the day, but Chaney coming off the bench brings such a different dynamic. But I don't like the habits that Janai is forming at the 4. And that's probably my biggest concern, is that he doesn't get in the block, and he's so just clearly effective down low. I mean, they couldn't stop him. And that's going to probably be my biggest frustration throughout the beginning of this year, if they keep rolling him out at that 4, because you saw once he got the ball in the block, I don't even think he touched the ball down low to about the 10-minute mark of the game. He was just hovering around the 3. And free throws, I mean, that's always going to be a concern, but I think that was just, it's early in the year. He has the Houston bug. Hopefully we never have to play them again. But look, if we can't make free throws and we still win the game, I mean, the signs are there of just how good this team can be, because Houston was making their free throws, and so there's always that concern. But man, when he gets the ball down low, he just unstoppable.
Ryan, you're absolutely right. And listen, we got a bunch of folks here with us live at the Virtual Tumors Corner on YouTube. If you like listening to us on the podcast, on your commute in the morning, we love that. But if you get the chance to join us after game, it's a lot of fun. Ben C's here in the chat. He's absolutely agreeing with you, Ryan. The tricky part about Janai tonight is, he missed the front end of a couple of 1-1s, which means he didn't really go 0 for 4. He went 0 for 7. And there might be a game in the future where something like that costs us. But Mr. Beautiful pointing out, our field goal percentage from the floor, 52.9% against one of the best defenses in America. Unreal. Mr. Beautiful, I could not agree more. And Ryan, there's one more player that I want to talk about. I want to talk about Chris Moore. If you're somebody that follows Auburn basketball and follows Auburn Twitter especially, you probably heard that we had a little bit of a tough time getting into Houston. And it cost us some backup players. And that meant that Chris Moore was forced to play more minutes maybe than we would want him to or would expect him to. He had 16 minutes on the floor tonight, but he had 2 points on an amazing backdoor cut dunk. And again, just filling in. Matt in our group chat was talking about his extending perimeter defense, just being a rangy veteran and being a guy that you know is not going to cost you while he's out there on the floor. I feel like that's huge tonight.
Yeah. Him stepping up. I mean, look, I know we all have our concerns about Chris Moore, and rightfully so. But he's a senior. He's physical. There are times where he gets lost, but man, just going back to the SEC championship game last year against Florida, like he showed up and he produced when we needed him to, and he did the same thing tonight. Like gave us some meaningful minutes, had a couple of good defensive plays, a block at one point. Him stepping up and playing well really helps out, especially when there were guys in foul trouble. I think we all were concerned when CBM got a second foul in like the first 2 minutes of the game.
That was huge.
And him coming in and just giving some minutes there, which those minutes probably would have went to Jakai, right? And who knows how the game would have went tonight with a freshman. Yeah, I don't want to you don't want to say what ifs, but Chris earned his minutes tonight, and he played well, and that's something that we all should be proud of him for that, and he took advantage of it, and that's what really helped us get the win tonight too.
An absolute Auburn man wear that number 5 jersey. And Ryan, I don't think I realized just how good of a game that Chaney had. He was 5 of 7 from the charity stripe, 3 of 6 from the field. Chaney Johnson played 31 minutes. That's second most on the team tonight. He finished with 11 points and 10 rebounds, our only player with a double-double. But he also had 4 assists and a block. I mean, talk about your guy from Huntsville stuffing the stat sheet.
I love Chaney. And ever since that I will always go back to that Georgia game last year. Man, he's just not been the same player. He took that leap, and he just continues to take that leap. There's times where you could see when he gets past a player on the block and he makes a move, like you just know he's going to finish it. And again, it goes into that argument of, do you keep bringing him off the bench because he obviously looks comfortable doing that, or do you slide Jen out of the 5 and him to the 4? Like I don't know. It's such an interesting thing there, but he's just grown in front of our eyes. He's so physical. His body is completely different. And Flex Machine said here in the chat, Chaney kept us in the game early. He really did. I think at one point we were absolute ice cold, and he had 9 points and was keeping us in it. That missed dunk is kind of whatever. That was brutal, but man, we had so many just weird things happen like that tonight and still pulled it off. We've all been hurt. Let's make this into Benning said. We've all been hurt by things like that in the past, and just like rolled our eyes or knew the game was over. And this team just grinded it out, man. Grinded it out.
But they did more than grind it out. We had a young kid step up, and I'll never forget this moment. There was a foul in the possession. Tahad shot it, made the 3. Guess what? Now Bruce gets to call an out of bounds play. The ball gets back into Tahad's hands, and what does he do? Clean open look 3. I mean, what can you say about the composure of this freshman going up against one of the best teams defensively in America and dropping 21 points and no turnovers? Wherever Matt is, he's smiling in his sleep right now, just knowing that Tahad Pettiford did not turn that ball over. So, Ryan, I got to go with you. I got to go with the chat. It's overwhelming here. We got Flex Machine, Mr. Beautiful, Pocket Watch, Trent Ponder, Chris Thomas. Everybody is dropping the same name. Ryan, who's our MVP?
It's got to be Tahad. It's got to be Tahad
Pettiford.
Which is awesome.
Ryan, yeah. I mean, second game, one of the biggest games of the year for sure.
0 points in the first game. 0. There were signs, right? And there were moments in that first game where you could see like he's got a little something. But to do that tonight in that environment, and also just the way he plays defense too, he is tenacious. And to just do that and lead, there were moments, I don't know if you noticed this on the broadcast, there were moments where Bruce would come to him for a play call or like out of bounds after timeout, and he would get the guys together. He was leading on the floor as a freshman. He's got that Northeast New Jersey mentality. They said it 1,000 times on the show, on the broadcast tonight. If y'all don't know
we're
this,
keeping it going.
He's from Jersey City. But man, he's just tough. And you brought this up. It's Todd, right? That's our
Yeah,
pick.
that's our
Okay.
MVP.
Just a couple things about the game, real quick. You pointed this out in our group chat, and I want to bring this up. You said that we all noticed that the offensive play calling when we had the ball on our side of the court just improved drastically in that second half. What did you notice, and what did you see that made you say that?
There's part of it that feels like a little bit of gamesmanship. So much in that first half seemed to be running ISO ball. We'd send our twos and our threes to the wing, particularly when Janai was in that four spot. Janai took 4 3-pointers tonight. It's a few too many for me. Honestly, I think
Yeah,
somewhere between the 2 to 3 range is great. But if he's going to be playing that four, the four shoots threes in Bruce's offense. And it seemed like we were sort of relying on ISO ball and trying to get a sense of how Houston was going to defend us and how we could get Janai into the right position to get him one-on-one. And that really seemed to work so much better in the second half. I don't know how much of that is because we're in front of Bruce on the bench, which means he can call plays directly to whoever's ball handling. But I think a large part of that had to go with who played in that second half. Ryan, let's get to some stats here. Janai Broom, 33 minutes tonight. He played the most. We rode our guy all the way to the end. Chaney Johnson, 31. He didn't have a lot of backups, so we stuck with him a lot of the way. But Tahad Pettiford played 24 minutes to JP Pegues's 14. And I think a lot of
yeah.
that has to do with how much more effective he was running that offense. The announcers were talking about it all night. He was not afraid of the moment.
No, there was man, we were running some stuff in that second half that I've never seen Auburn run before. I mean, the way we were moving the ball, and the way that they were having off the ball action, I haven't seen that in since 2019. I don't know. I mean, that we're used to seeing the ball stick, late shot clock, get the ball in the post. Man, we were running some stuff to get guys open left and right. And on the post game show, Bruce credited Mike Burgomaster. He said Burgo was calling every single play, giving me the play call, and I was relaying it. Burgo is an offensive genius, man, and we've got some guys and some tools this year that we can use and utilize. That we have so much flexibility and things we could do. We haven't had this many tools to play with in a long time. And we're just scratching the surface. Tonight when we needed baskets, it was Pettiford and it was Broom, but against Vermont, it was Miles Kelly, Denver Jones, like CBM. There's a plethora of options that we could go with, and we got one of the best defensive teams in the country last year. We'll be one of those this year, out of sorts and out of place in the second half, and it's only game 2 of the season.
I mean, Ryan, the tenacity of our defense was a thing to behold. Houston finished the game shooting 24 of 58. Auburn finished the game shooting 27 of 51. So they shot the ball 7 more times than we did, but we still made 3 more baskets. We won the assist battle, which I know Matt's going to love, 14-7. We doubled them up in assists. We somehow managed to win the steal battle. I don't know how we came back and won this. We had 6 steals to their 5. We, of course, won the block party. We talked about that earlier. And it was dead even on the rebounding. I mean, the announcers were gushing about how good and physical this basketball game is. And I couldn't agree more. And that really says it all. The fact that rebounding was dead even. I mean, this was a dogfight in Houston's backyard. We weren't playing in their actual stadium. We were playing in the Houston Rockets stadium, but still, like, you have to think for their fans.
It's like 3 minutes away from their campus.
Yeah. But Ryan, what were you hearing on that broadcast?
On the broadcast that I didn't like.
Yeah. Or on the broadcast, you could no, on the broadcast.
Oh, man, they were just all over the place. I think at one point they said Tahad was the number 1 recruit in Auburn history. I'm like, Jabari Smith that literally plays in the same arena. And then they kept saying Jersey City, and they called Janai Broom, Janai Pearl, just all over the place.
Hey, Bruce might marry him after this game. I don't know.
Yeah, there's some good things in the chat right here. Miles Norgren said Pettiford greater than Holloway. Look, let's not forget Aiden's first game against Baylor last year. And then obviously we saw what happened, but Pettiford's a different beast. Also, Miles mentioned Broom at 4 scares me at times. Do we have a free throw issue? I mean, we just talked about this a minute ago, but Broom at the 4 does scare us a lot, but let's just see what happens. I think time's going to show that they may still roll that lineup out because Chaney coming off the 4 um, is also interesting.
And Dylan Cardwell is just too talented a player, especially early on in the game when other teams are at their freshest. His length going against a guard heavy team like Houston, we started off the game. It was pretty close most of the way through. Houston didn't really start to pull away until the end of that first half. So I don't know that the starting lineup has been exposed yet, but I do think the oddly enough the glaring weakness defensively is Janai there at the 4.
Yeah, for sure. It's again, it's early on. We've got a lot of other incredible battles that we're going to be playing against here, in the near future. It's just good to get this one early, right? I think we all could have chalked this one as a moral victory. At the end of the day, like, we kept it close with the number 4 team, number 1 in Ken Palm, all this stuff. But the fact that we went out and got that one to set the tone for the year, that this team is not messing around, just feels so good. I think we can all go back and nitpick, and we have the ability to do so, and we should. But just to get this one at the end, just sets the tone, man. And that's what's so exciting and just different than teams in the past. I mean, teams in the past, we would have gotten beat because we missed free throws. We would have gotten beat because we had periods where we didn't rebound. I mean, dude, we didn't score a basket for 9 minutes in the first half.
That was
9.
another one. No, that was another one where the announcer was wrong. Miles Kelly did hit a 3-pointer, but the last 4 minutes of the first half, you're right. We did not hit a bucket.
But I mean, but even then, like, it was just brutal, brutal. But we kept it close somehow, some way.
Defense,
But
baby.
yeah, defense. Look, this team, I think defense was always going to be our biggest strength because of just how old we are, how physical we are. Defense is going to win us games, right? Offense can win us championships. I know people always say defense wins championships, but we all know that our defense is going to be there this year. So the offense is what's going to set us up to that next level.
Well, and Ryan, if you remember last year, our defense was also really good last year, but the teams that make the Sweet 16 are usually somewhere in that top 25 of total offense. And so this team looks different than last year in that regard. It looks like a team that can score even when things are tough and even when playing an incredibly defensively efficient team.
Yeah, I mean, that's what's so exciting about this, right? Is that we still are just scratching the surface on what we can do. And let's also talk about too, just how, I mean, Houston can handle the ball. They've got a lot of athleticism, a lot of speed. We gave them fits inbounding the ball tonight, absolute fits, and that's a Bruce Pearl staple, and it always will be.
Yeah,
And
what does he call it? Special teams, right?
yeah, special teams, man. If we can get a special teams touchdown, like that's going to help us win the game. And we had some great turnovers tonight, some great we frustrated them with out of bounds, and that's we have length and size that we never really had before at the guard position that gives us even more of an advantage on those out of bounds plays this year, which is just so exciting.
Yeah, and we lost the turnover battle in the first half. We wound up winning the turnover battle in the second half. We finished 12 turnovers to Houston's 10, but I believe ending the first half it was 7-4. So we really made some
Wow.
incredible adjustments. And that's just another shout out to this coaching staff. I mean, you talked about Burgo's ability to call plays. We know that Ira Bowman is a huge part of handling the point guards and developing some of these young guys that are coming in out of high school, getting them used to Bruce's system. And man, you just didn't expect this team that had changed so much from last year to be so ready for this challenge right away. And they were.
Yeah, they were. And there's a freshman there was so much adversity and so much weirdness over the past 24 hours that I'm just glad that we got this game over with and that it came out to be the result that it is. We're not going to get into all the stuff that happened before the game, but you didn't know what team was going to show up tonight or like how all that went down. I mean, we may never know what all went down, but the fact that this team had everything that happened to them, um, it's a veteran group. I don't think anything's going to phase them this year, and that's something that we should be confident in moving forward. Is we've got guys that are vocal, we have leadership. In previous teams, we haven't had that, and it showed throughout the years. I don't think we're going to have a problem this year, which is something that I look forward to moving forward. Ben, what do we got coming up here in the next couple games that I think I've got the schedule pulled
Man,
up here?
catch your breath, Ryan. We've got a couple of nice, easy ones coming up. We got Kent State and North Alabama both coming to Neville Arena. Those games are Wednesday night and Monday night. Those are going to be late tips. So if we can get your boys Jackson and Matt back on the podcast, that'll be great. And then coming up here at the end of the month, Ryan, we got the Maui Invitational. And we're going to be going into that with some serious momentum as long as we take care of business.
We do. Yeah, I got a couple of games here, which Kent State, North Alabama, I think, you never know, but those are going to be hopefully some games that we can tune up for and dial some things in. Because Iowa State's going to be a rock fight just like tonight. They are almost identical to Houston in the way they play. And so that one's going to be one that we're going to have to dial in for and get ready for that battle as well. But yeah, man, just what a win. I can't speak highly enough about this team right now. I mean, we got a long season ahead, but just this is what we signed up for. This is what the coaching staff signed us up for this year. They believed in this team. You could hear it when Bruce was doing the post-game interview with Andy. He was so proud that he named every player and what they contributed to tonight. And he signed our guys up this year for this type of schedule, and they rewarded him for it. They rewarded the fans for it, and I think that's something that we all should be proud of and look forward to the rest of the season, because this is the type of performances that we may get every night moving forward, which is exciting.
Ryan, our first top 5 regular season win as a program. Once again, you know what Bruce Pearl's about, man. He's about 2 words: make history. These are the golden years of Auburn basketball. We are living it, baby. Ryan, are you having fun? Oh no. Oh no, Ryan froze. Ryan, I'm going to ask you again because you froze up on me. Ryan, are you having fun?
I'm having a blast, man. I'm actually having a blast.
What a time to be an Auburn Tigers fan. War Eagle, everybody, thanks for listening. Don't forget, give us 5 stars on whatever podcast app you're listening to. Follow us on YouTube if you want to join the live after one of these games, maybe one that doesn't end at 1:00 Eastern time. And yeah, follow us on social media, the Jungle Auburn Podcast. War Eagle, everybody. All right. We did it, Ryan. We got the podcast out.
We were quick, efficient. Didn't have to explain things to Jeff.